Dude, I fucking like scratched my balls with like a toothpick the other day and it hurt like a motherfucker, dude. Turns out you shouldn't be scratching your balls with like a sharp toothpick. Oh, we're live. Oh shit.
That was
Hi.
totally an accident. No, it wasn't.
So,
All right.
you're trying to expose my little nut thing. Fuck you, dude.
Possibly. So, welcome to the Legion of Chaos, where controversy is the norm. I gotta practice to make
I
perfect.
can feel my virginity come back every time you say it.
Bitch, your virginity comes back basically every other week. Like,
Yeah,
you act like it's not normal.
yeah.
So-
I mean, you see my live.
Welcome-
People be acting up.
Welcome everyone to the Legion of Chaos. This week, our topic is the no-kill rule.
How fucking stupid it is, dude. It's
not
so
stupid.
dumb.
What do you mean
What?
dumb?
I
It's
get,
not the
I
rule.
get from like a company standpoint, a villain makes a shit ton of money,
Yeah.
but narratively, it makes no goddamn sense. It doesn't. Kill certain villains, bring them back sometime later, but don't just keep sending them to jail. That's fucking stupid.
I mean,
I
but
see you're just going right into it.
Because it's dumb.
Well,
I've
I
been saying this
agree
shit for
too.
years.
Because like, it goes both ways. When I'll give you a great example: Crocodile in Alabasta. Dude, he just let Luffy in the crocodile pit, and he could have easily they killed him, but he underestimated him, and that led to his downfall. It's such it's kind of a BS way to write a plot. You know, it's just so convenient.
well, also, who said that heroes were supposed to be synonymous with morality? I mean, if you really think about it, that's actually never been the case. When you're supposed to be a hero, it's more about being a figure. So before we got on camera, we actually brought up a really awesome character, and I think we all like him. He's the symbol of peace. Everybody loves All Might, right?
Oh, yeah, John Cena.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you can't see him though. So, but
Facts.
with All Might, he's quite literally the perfect hero, and it's not because he's overly powerful like Goku or Superman. It's because he embodies what it is to be a hero. But that's the part of the plot. That's what no one really pays attention to. The vision of what a hero should be. He is the pinnacle of what a hero is, but beyond the scenes, there's a whole lot of things that are questionable as far as his decision making and the things that he puts himself through. But he still embodies what a hero is. So before we go too deep, let's all keep that in mind. I mean, we had a conversation, me and John had a conversation, but I plan on bringing up Batman in this because I don't like Batman. But technically speaking, you can consider him quite the hero because he stands on this idea that you can't kill anyone.
I fully anticipated that Batman was going to be brought up quite a lot in this topic. Hence
That's
why
he's
the whole
wallpaper.
Yeah, he's the wallpaper for that reason. I even warned Nick, like, okay, this is going to be mostly about Batman because he's the big one when it comes to the no-kill rule. But like, this is for everyone, like no-kill rule in general for all superheroes, not exclusively just Batman. He's just the main.
Well, you brought him up, so let's bring it. Let's just go ahead and tackle
Yep.
that out of the way. So, Batman, why is he the pinnacle of what a hero should be? Think about his decisions. When he doesn't kill these people, he's not killing them because he doesn't understand he should. In fact, we've had dialogue of Batman frankly saying he knows he should kill Joker, but it's the vision that comes with killing him that will supposedly affect society in whatever way. But
Under the Red Hood was a prime example of that.
Yeah.
Prime example. But once again, it's never supposed to be synonymous with morality. But when you look at people like the Punisher, who have a very high sense of morality, his decision-making skills can't be, I guess, an example for society.
Well, I guess an argument for the no-kill rule is that, you know, for Batman, I think he sees it almost like a slippery slope. Like, if he starts doing it once, who knows how morally depraved he will end up getting. It's very hard to determine how you're going to be, like, later on after you commit, you know, a lot of these killings. Again, even though if they're in the name of justice, we don't know how that's going to affect Batman in the long run if he commits those acts.
I mean, we have...
But I think a big part of that is like it also depends on who they're killing.
Yes.
Like we'll take the fucking best example is the Joker. We're talking about Batman. We're going to talk about the Joker. The amount, like they say in the Under the Red Hood, whatever the fuck the movie is, Under the Hood, Red Hood. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
In that movie, Jason Todd literally says the amount of graveyards that man has killed because you won't kill him. How many other people need to suffer, like me, for you to realize that he needs to die? Not even like, and even he said, like, don't kill Penguin, don't kill the Riddler, don't kill Two-Face, just kill him because he's the worst of the bunch. Like, and Batman doesn't want to take that in consideration, but he wants to keep this, I have a high morality here. No, you're just as bad as him. You indirectly kill people all the time because you're too much of a bitch to do what needs to be done.
All right, well, I'll raise you a situation, though. We actually have one very clear situation where we have what happens when a hero kills and kind of a half situation that we can reference. So the first situation, I think we're all aware of, the injustice situation. What happens when a hero decides they are going to kill? Now, we can look at Superman. Now, obviously, that's a really extreme case that we're talking about, but the point is, technically speaking, Superman wasn't really wrong.
Yeah,
Technically speaking,
he had a broken
if,
psyche based on the fact that because of Joker, which, by the way, Batman didn't kill him.
Right.
It's in the context of the fact that Batman's issue with Superman. So with Joker killing Joker, I mean, even in Injustice 2, it's Batman explains that like he totally understood why Superman killed the Joker. In fact, he kind of didn't really care that much about that particular instance where he kills the Joker. His concern was more of Superman then going and to like the prison system, like along with Wonder Woman and the regime, and just becoming a tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a weird case where I think the issue is, of course, Batman being against taking justice into their own hands, but at the same time, considering it is the Justice League, there is a situation where technically they are kind of in the right because they do still stand for justice, and like essentially they represent justice as a whole. Like they are above most standards. Like going into outer space and killing Darkseid or fighting Darkseid or whatever, that is not within the bounds of Earth law. That is like, and you could barely even. I mean, technically, it's law within the Lantern Corps, sure, because like the whole intergalactic shit, but realistically, that's a matter that only the Justice League can handle. So it's like the Justice League have it's sort of a bit of priority in terms of everything, where they are still they are justice just as much as the legal, like the world, like the world, each country and their system of laws, like they are justice in the sense. Now they typically would avoid resorting to that and decide taking justice into their own hands, because they don't want to do that on every single person. But given the circumstances with the Joker, obviously they're like, you know what, this is a problem that needs to be addressed. Now, I want to let everyone else come, because I had arguments for in favor of why Batman should not kill, but I want everyone else to pitch in there, give their 2 cents on the matter before I go in.
Well, I mean, I agree and of course disagree. I mean, it goes, I said it earlier, as far as the no-kill rule, you have to also take into consideration that the no-kill rule is attached to the idea of being a hero. It's synonymous with being a hero, but what's not synonymous is morality. So as much as it makes sense to talk directly about why he shouldn't kill, we should also make the comparison of what morality has to do. So I have another example of why, him not necessarily killing people isn't a good thing for morality, but it makes sense as a hero. And we have another one in Marvel with Civil War, right? We had a situation where people were supposed to follow the rules, right? So you have two people with intentions of being good, but you have morality versus being a hero, which is synonymous with justice, right? So if you look at Batman, well, we can't expect him to necessarily kill because he embodies justice and being in heroism. So as much as we would like to say, yes, you should, it just kind of highlights the idea that there's fundamental flaws of what it means to be a hero, quote unquote. And we have another great example, the hero killer in My Hero
Yes.
Academia.
Oh, yeah.
He embodied the truth of what heroes are. You were supposed to be a face rather than function. Sometimes it makes more sense to kill people, but at the same time, All Might showed us that you have to be a symbol of peace. That's why heroes are heroes.
I'm
So-
very happy you brought up the hero killer too, because it's such a great example. Because in contrast, you somebody like Endeavor, who was, he was trying his best to be the number one hero, and he didn't fit the hero killer's criteria. In fact, he used Endeavor as a prime example of what not to be, which is somebody who's so focused on the title of being a hero rather than actually protecting and saving people. But the thing is that the hero killer is such a nuanced character, and the way he goes about it is inherently wrong. And so it creates this layer that is based on this society that doesn't understand exactly how to show justice in the way that's going to protect everybody.
I mean, technically speaking, wouldn't we all consider Itachi actually a hero? But to society, he definitely wasn't. He is considered an anti-hero by our standards in this conversation.
Yes.
Yeah.
But tell
For
me
the sake
that
of
wasn't
this
the most heroic thing he could have
You're
done
right.
for his
It was
I would-
civilization.
I want to just make this point real quick because we're talking about anti-heroes. Notice how all the anti-heroes in comics don't have as much bullshit to deal with as superheroes who won't kill.
The only thing they have to
just
deal
saying,
with is their image.
They don't deal with as much
Uh,
bullshit because they'll
and they're
drop people.
ridiculed.
That's
No,
okay,
but
what do
no,
you mean?
he's right. He's right though. But you have to admit though, they might not have as far as issues handling a problem, but most of their writing has to be centered around how they have to go about things. Deadpool technically is unkillable, but he can never really do everything he wants to do because people are very aware of him. They don't want to side with him. He's problematic. He's considered
Yeah.
problematic, right? Because people are like, well, you don't fit the hero narrative. Once again, a lot of the time, sometimes Deadpool is on some stuff and it's like, well, but then once again, he can't embody a hero because we also saw him destroy the entire Marvel universe
Yeah.
in a great story, but that plays to his personality.
How do
And,
you kill
I
Hulk?
think-
By the way, I still don't get how he was able to kill Hulk. Like that's shit. Like it's just because Hulk is like the most unkillable.
If anybody's in the
think so,
comments,
yeah.
actually, because I read this issue, but I'm not 100% sure if it's even canon or not. I'm pretty sure it is, but let me know if it is canon or not.
Alright.
But that was actually just a ridiculous situation. But also
well-
keep in mind,
Well,
Deadpool killed- Deadpool killing the
Elu-
Marvel universe was not canon.
El
That's what I. It's not canon to
Guerrillo.
616.
yeah, it's not 616.
God, I butchered that.
You're the Hispanic out of
I
all.
could be Hispanic and still butcher a fucking name like that. Spoiler alert, I'm also half white.
Yeah,
And the gringo side in me just now wouldn't allow me to roll my R's, okay?
Jacob, you're
struggle.
half white. I think we can all tell that by your outward appearance.
yeah.
All right.
you
So
stop, bro.
before we jump too
Wow.
far off topic, I know we wanted to hit on Batman, but me and John
Yeah.
have a mutual friend on TikTok that is huge on the Hawk. So let's bring up a really good issue, World Breaker Hawk or World War Hawk. Wouldn't everyone, if you actually read the story, now I know a lot of people didn't actually read the story, but if you did, you kind of would never side with anybody other than the Hawk if you knew what he went through. But if you're on the outside looking in,
Welcome
you
to
can't
the-
really
back-
consider him a good person, but he was following morality. The Avengers, and specifically the Illuminati, essentially had his entire family killed with the intention on killing him. We find out it wasn't exactly like that, but from his perspective, I mean, doesn't it make sense to destroy the people who make decisions that don't necessarily morally match up with what's doing right? So that entire story was a really good point on this conversation because he did a lot of bad, but morally speaking, I mean,
when you also think about it, I mean, in Civil War II, I mean, Hawkeye literally kills Bruce Banner because Bruce Banner gives him that special arrow that is designed to prevent Banner from transforming into the Hulk, and like to use whenever Hawkeye feels that the Hulk is about to come out, to use that arrow on Banner to kill him, to prevent that from ever happening, just so that it doesn't happen. So he did, and he felt horrible about it. He turned himself in. He let the authorities arrest him and send him to trial, take him to court, and then I don't remember if he explicitly pleaded guilty, but I mean he certainly was fully expecting and ready to be to be given a sentence of some sort, and then they just let him go. They're like, "You're not guilty." The whole court just did not give a shit that he killed Hulk, who was literally a teammate of his on a team that society has admired for quite a while. Like compared to a lot of other teams in Marvel, like the X-Men, who do not get any love by society in that universe
At all.
The Avengers were actually well liked by the public, and even though Hulk was not, he is still considered he was still a very close friend to all of them. So like to be in that mindset, he just killed one of his closest friends, and the court is like, yeah, we don't care. It's the Hulk. Like that, you did us a favor. It's like, holy shit. Like, because legally he is in the wrong. Like it's different than, and I kind of want to bring this. I think
the law.
I'm ready to go into the Batman stuff and the Batman rant. So if anyone else is ready to wants to pitch in their takes. Okay, so
I would like to give my take real quick.
All right, good. Because I don't want to rant over every single just for every single second of this podcast.
No, I get it, man.
Yeah.
I agree with like a good portion of it, but I would also like to say some people just need to fucking die. They be causing too many problems. They be hurting too many people to try and justify them staying alive.
Yeah.
Some people just need to have this shit snapped. They need to look like General Zod at the end of Man of Steel. Snap, crackle, pop. They dead.
Interesting. Yulu Espinosa asks, does the death sentence not exist in any comics? Like Joker's kill are triple digits?
Higher than that, actually.
Probably. But I wanted to get into this because it's likewise with so I think with legally speaking, if you actually look at really the law behind Batman, whether or not he can kill Joker, I think more often than not, he legally would be in the right to kill him. Or like to the point of the Hulk and Hawkeye killing him and the court not giving a shit and just letting him go. Even if he was legally in the wrong to do it, no one would care. The court wouldn't fucking care. But to that regard, I want to talk about more or less some of the problems I see with the no kill rule in terms of Batman, where for me, I'm more neutral of the whole no kill rule in the sense that I will whatever a character chooses to do, I'm totally support no matter what they do. It's not whether or not I agree with it or not. I just if they don't want to kill other people, I support that. If they do, I support that. But so for Batman, I think a problem that comes into play is that as you guys brought up, Red Hood, like how many graveyards he's filled. One of the problems, have you ever noticed how throughout the entirety of Jason Todd coming back being Red Hood, he almost never actually goes for the Joker ever again after that failed attempt. He doesn't try to go for Joker, even though he totally could. He doesn't. You know why? Because he wants Batman to do it. He wants Batman to do it because Jason wants to prove a point to Batman by having Batman left with no choice but to kill the Joker. So by that logic, you're pinning the blame on Batman, but from this perspective, there are people like Jason who were perfectly capable of taking down the Joker at any point, but have purposely chosen not to, simply to prove a point, even though they totally could. It's like Batman isn't just a whole mental battle of himself over this shit, but Jason is not. Jason would have absolutely no problem with killing Joker, but he wants to get the last laugh on Bruce. So why is it that Batman gets bashed for this account for the amount of people Joker kills, and not characters like Jason Todd, who literally have Joker in the grasp of their hand and could kill them at any point, but choose not to because they want Batman to do it.
Because
how many
Batman
times
has not only does Batman have more of a connection to Joker than Red Hood does, which is Excited.
Oh.
That's whack to say because Joker is literally the reason that the Red Hood exists, the name and the
Okay,
reason Jason
but
Todd fucking
okay, but what
died.
does that? But what does that
Also,
necessarily?
people don't know how to write a Red Hood comic properly because they have him dropping everyone else and they leave Joker for Batman. And
Yeah,
Batman
but-
seems like a little bitch to do anything.
But what does that have to really do? Like the relationship, does that even really matter? Of just having a relationship means you're obligated. Why? Like I've always seemed it weird. It's like Batman is the one who's obligated to kill Joker, and no one else is allowed to kill him except for Batman. Is kind of how it seems to pin it around. Where even though many characters have had more than enough opportunities to kill the Joker. Like, I'm pretty sure, if I'm correct, every single Robin at some point has beaten Joker. And all of them could have easily just killed him. Like, what was Bruce going to do for most of them? Like if he's not going to, like, because they fucking beat him straight up. Batman's not anywhere to be around. He can't stop them from killing them, but they don't kill him. And they just like, yeah, that's Batman's problem. Yeah.
I put that
like-
as bad writing from the writers.
Well,
Okay, but like
the-
bad writing is that's probably the name of this game half the time. It's like
yeah.
like I think now I bring this up because overall while I'm neutral to the idea the no kill rule, my issue with the Batman no kill rule is less to do with the fact that he doesn't want to kill and more to do with the fact that they over romanticize his no kill rule and they make it like and his no kill rule is everything in like every single story. Like it has everything to do with the story. It's just so fucking it's so fucking
Overdone. Just
overdone.
like, well, okay. So first, it's like the rule itself. I get the rule, but you asked a specific question. Why does everybody have a specific problem with him? Once again, I am acknowledging that I do like the rule. I understand the rule, and we can have a separate conversation about that. But the issue people have with Batman is because he constantly says, "Oh," and I said this is it's an issue of morality. But here's the problem: you beat the living shit out of everybody that you see. You would probably beat someone half to death for a quarter bag of weed if you got the chance. Like he will, as far as like actually breaking the law morally wise, like this dude is like he's due for like 300 years of assault alone.
Yeah.
So it's like
what's more moral, killing someone who needs to die or breaking innocent people's bodies over and over and over
Alright.
again until they're
Yeah.
crippled. and
But
can't
Alright.
it's
walk
the
Kilometers
question
Matt
of
is-
morality.
So-
It's like that's the issue that people
All
have
right,
though,
Kilometers
because it
Matt is joining, by the way. Just like let you
I
guys know.
saw him.
don't. But that's the reason. It's
welcome.
because he doesn't necessarily
Thanks for having me.
he's not necessarily consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he's kind of inconsistent
Well,
as far as that. And we don't
So,
blame the
I'll-
Robins because let's be real. If my dad was Batman and any given day he might leave me to be tortured by a terrorist or he might beat the living shit out of me himself. And when I say beat the shit out of you, I mean with like crowbars, like you're in
Yeah.
ICU for like 3 months and you don't have an issue written about you because your neck was snapped and stuff because my dad beat me so bad. So I don't necessarily blame any of the Bat children because they're batshit crazy. So none of them make sense. Look at all of them.
Batman's
It's
a
a
terrible father.
I mean,
Of course, so I
Yeah.
blame him. Like I don't
I mean,
expect
yeah.
them to make good decisions if they've been
Be
getting
honest,
But
the
I
crap
I think
beat
to
out
your
of them
point,
every
though,
Batman's not
I
cash
know.
money.
I think you bring up. So I do agree with you. I do agree with you, Blue, with the analogy that the inconsistency writing. But I think that's to my point that it's overdone. That Batman is constantly being pushed to the extremes in many of his stories. Where I think it becomes stale and repetitive, redundant, and everything. Where it's like, yeah, because that's like if that's the only story they know how to do with Batman and Joker, then it's pretty. I think it does get old. It gets pretty old pretty fast.
Like I would even be cool with like everybody like kind of like trashes Naruto, but even at one point Naruto realized like he got to do something about Sasuke
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
And we've had that
Yeah.
moment so many times with the Joker. I think I would be okay with like Batman just not being able to kill the Joker,
Well,
rather than he just doesn't
that,
want
That's
to.
what I wanted to lead into because I think that's why I think they overdid it. I think like now to an extent, Joker being alive, he's a moneymaker. He's the villain.
For
He's
sure.
a moneymaker. You can't. The DC itself can't just kill off one of their most iconic villains. However, like it's always going to be forced in some way. Now, I do think though it could be done better so that even though it's forced, it still feels a little bit more natural or just not silly. And I think you could do that with something like Batman can't kill Joker because if he does, like there's like a device inside his heart that detects his heartbeat,
Or he's
and
just
if
too
it just
smart. Anything,
like
anything.
it will just destroy all of Gotham, or just it will kill a lot of people, and you just can't do that because killing him, as I'm pointing out, puts people at risk. I think that is also kind of shown. I think they do a good job showing that actually in Darkest Knight, when Batman Who Laughs starts out killing the Joker, and a Joker toxin is released from the Joker's dead body into Batman to make him turn mentally into the Joker, so that he can have his as his contingency. I think that kind of comes to show that like it's still plot armor. Like this is all plot armor. Like as I said, like Forced, it's plot armor, but plot armor that at least is kind of reasonable. That Joker killing, he's too smart and too dangerous to simply kill because there's a good chance that he has something up his sleeve if that does happen and he dies.
Yeah,
Batman
so-
has a 9th level intellect. He's the second smartest human on the planet, yet he's not smart enough to know that some people need to fucking die.
Well,
No.
if
I'm not
heroes
gonna,
didn't
I'm not
have,
gonna let that whole
Look.
he's smart enough to do this. He ain't smart enough to snap this little bitch boy's neck.
my
Fuck
point-
that.
To my point, I mean,
that.
like how many like sure, like when you think about it, Joker is clinically the most insane, really, of all villains, but is he the worst villain? Like, is he the deadliest villain, the one that's the biggest threat to
Yes.
the multiverse?
I would say he's
not
the-
even close. I would not.
No, because that you guys aren't thinking about that clearly, because that's a very specific question. You said is the biggest threat. Absolutely. Because here's the thing. I know that there's people that could literally just snap their fingers and blow up the world, but for whatever reason, the heroes seem to have a grip on those situations, and only every now and then do those things become a fucking issue. Joker seems to be dropping people on the weekends for fun. Like,
okay,
all
but think
the
of it this
time.
way: why do they have it taken
So
care
he's
of?
the most dangerous, technically speaking.
Why do they seem to have everything under control for threats like that, but not the Joker? And because the whole Justice League is helping out to get
Justice League's a bunch of bitches too.
But
what? So
Batman
that's kind of where I point. Where is the Justice League during any encounter with
Batman told
Superman?
them to stay out of Gotham.
But Superman is his. Yes, Superman is his best friend. He knows Batman just as well as Joker. Oh my God.
Man, fuck that guy.
Literally. That's
But
my
I mean,
dog.
it's like
He's
okay,
literally
but
told the Justice
Superman,
League
but
to
they're
fuck off. The
technically,
Justice League
but like
showed
if
up
you're
to
gonna
help
play
out
the
and he goes,
accountability
"Oh,
game,
this is
if you're gonna
my
play the
city."
accountability game, you have to put the accountability on the Justice League because they could easily fucking blitz that guy's ass and kill him, spare Batman the burden.
Agreed, but remember, we're talking about the no-kill rule here.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, and contest me, I'm open up for everyone beating me up. But if heroes did not have the no-kill rule, all comic books would essentially just be Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Kind of.
And so I think the issue with the no kill rule is that it's not realistic. I think why people like characters like Lelouch or Light or any of these anti-heroes, it's because the way they go about seeking out justice, even though it can cross moral boundaries, it's more realistic, and the end result usually turns into a better outcome. And that's what's frustrating about Batman and the Joker, because it's almost out of his own selfishness, which is why he isn't able to abandon this one
This is
principle.
my co-host.
But isn't that Joker's MO to like shine light on the fundamental issues with them? Isn't he proving a point? Like, isn't that like the entire his entire psyche, his entire purpose is
So,
to be like, hey guys, like look at this, you can't kill me, and I'm just gonna keep killing people because you guys are stupid ass heroes.
So to my point,
to
it's
a
like
certain extent,
okay, but I mean, we all know Darkseid is always going to go after the anti-life equation, no matter how many times you beat the shit out of him. Yet, how many times has he not died? Even though
but you're bringing an old god who physically cannot die. His clay avatar can get defeated.
There are far more dangerous, far more powerful beings that have been incapacitated, that have been dealt with.
We're gonna bring
we're
gonna bring up the Darkest Night. You said that there are far more powerful beings. You're right. 5th dimensional imps, 6th dimensional beings, Trigun, all these insanely powerful beings.
Bro, they
Who
trust-
caused the most bullshit in the multiverse within the past 30 years? The fucking Joker's insanity combined with Batman. The Joker's bullshit caused the most problems in the multiverse.
But how did
since
that
Joker on
happen?
Infinite Earths.
Didn't that happen because Batman killed the Joker?
And I
in
have,
that
a,
one
I have a really
universe?
good question because I just thought of something, and we're gonna stick to the Joker, but I have another instance of why is the no kill rule? Because it's not necessarily consistent even with how we feel. Because I just thought of something. Remember when Sentry like ripped Carnage straight in half and like just like literally killed him? Nobody had a problem with that.
Oh yeah, or like how about all the times that Batman kills parademons? Because he's killed parademons. Like you can find
Well,
comics
Exactly.
upon comics
What is the big deal with killing a parademon but not a bitch ass clown?
like that. That's
I
mean,
think
like-
there's
what
a
about
le-
the-
there's a
so
level.
like no, hold on. I was going because Jacob. I think Blue is going to get onto it, but I mean, So there's kind of as to my point of before the Justice League, like parademons are not bound by the Earth's law. They are not from Earth. They do not. You cannot arrest them because they do not live on Earth. The laws do not really apply to them per se. So that's kind of it's different. It's like I think, and Batman
They don't look like us, so they gotta go.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
pretty,
That's what I'm saying.
xenophobic.
I mean, kind of.
That's
Yeah.
pretty.
No,
xenophobic.
exactly. No, it's exactly how something they don't look like us. We're gonna have to
But-
get rid of them. You tell me how
But
that
let me play
sounds.
devil's
It's
advocate
because
with that. I get what
it's
he's
just.
saying. Like,
But I don't necessarily
parademons
agree
are
with that.
mindless beings. Parademons are mindless beings. That's not an apt comparison. A
Uh,
better comparison would be how does Batman get to leave KG Beast to die in two different separate stories, and that's okay. But leaving Joker to die is not okay. In the Under the Red Hood storyline, he literally saves the Joker from Red Hood actively. That's why I like the movie more, because he doesn't save the Joker. He stops Red Hood from shooting him in the back, right?
yeah.
That's completely different from him actively saving the Joker's life. At that point, that's when I was like, no, Batman, I have an issue with Batman himself.
Well, Batman
Well, I mean, I was gonna
himself
say-
also said he's a bad person. He said that
Well,
if he
yeah.
killed someone, he's basically the Joker. So I would also have to argue that he kind of knows that he's not really a good person. So
I also kind of like, and it's my point. I mean, like before, Jason had all the opportunity to kill Joker in that entire comic, because like for like a solid several hours or so, he had the Joker tied up in a closet waiting for Batman to just mess around with him and toy with him until he could get him into a spot where he can play that whole game of kill the Joker or that whatever. If he could have easily just pulled out a gun and shot him, and that's kind of always been the thing. Is like any cop Gotham. I mean, it's especially considering it's fucking Gotham. Any cop. Like as soon as Joker is taken into custody, any cop could have just pulled out their gun and shot him, because like we know that's what they're all thinking. Like this guy fucking deserves to die. Now, to my point, I am neutral. I don't care if Batman chooses to kill the Joker or doesn't choose to kill the Joker, as long as they don't overdo that whole story plot point, because it's I think your point, Blue, before the fact that they keep expressing it in a way that there's some kind of moral reasoning or whatever just makes it stupid, because it's like, dude, just like stop making it about this moral dictatorship. Make it either because if the Joker dies, that might actually put people in danger because he might have some kind of contingency. Like we know the Joker was more than capable of having shit that's powered by his heartbeats just to and if as soon as his heart stops beating, people die. Or just the fact that like the whole Joker toxin put into his mind, that's how we got the fucking Darkest Night. Or you could just have it just explaining, like I think Batman Begins actually perfectly explained that he never said he was against the idea of capital punishment. It's just that it wasn't his duty to do that.
I'm going to say something mad controversial to your statement.
Go ahead.
That, if the Joker dies, he could have a contingency where other people die. Those people are going to die either way. Either Joker dies, they die, and other people don't die, or Joker doesn't die, they die, and more people die with them. You sacrifice a few to save others.
I mean, you could easily just cut off all of Joker's arms and legs, and
Make
he's
him
still alive.
Exactly. Cut off his arms and legs, rip out his teeth, and he becomes a human chicken nugget.
Well, I don't
We're
even
not
think.
doing
But
this.
here's the thing. Here's the
Dude,
thing.
why are we not DC comic characters, bro? I swear to God, I'm like Peacemaker right now.
Okay, I mean, but to my point, like, look at all the DC characters just fucking around and not killing Joker, even though they could
They fuck
easily
around and
fucking
find out.
kill him.
Fuck.
It's like, as I said, Jason could have killed him at any point, but he chooses not to because he wants to prove a point to Batman. He wants Batman to do it, even though he's been throwing at this argument. Do you know how many graveyards he's filled up? Bitch,
Well,
you
all right.
are not. You could have killed him.
There
motherfucker.
is a level of and I know everybody hates it. We brought it up already. Plot armor. Can we just acknowledge that really quick? Because
Yeah,
I think we're kind of looping almost because let's just be honest. There's a huge plot armor because at the same time, as much as we're making sense, then we can also argue for the point. Okay, of all the anti-heroes, that's really about, and we can name a few of them that is just like on spot will just absolutely end a whole flock of people if they had to. Why have they not found the Joker and ended them? So there is definitely a large and people don't give it as much. And let's say 95% of the reason that Joker is actually alive is because of, like you said, comic sales. He's a powerful, very popular character. So we can kind of like spin off of like why it doesn't make sense as much because that is a huge part of it. But I think the main issue is just that a lot of us don't like the excuses that we heard. And like you said, Todd had so many times to end this situation, but once again, a little bit of that is plot armor. But once again, where is morality coming into play versus the actual plot of, acknowledging, let's not forget that Todd is also supposed to be labeled as a person that is going crazy, he was never supposed to be making good decisions in the first place, that we wouldn't necessarily hold, or for people who watched Avengers, because we're doing a lot of comic stuff. So if you watched Avengers when the Hawk was influenced by Wanda Maximoff, right? Do we really blame him for what was done? So if Todd is under the influence and not necessarily thinking, we can't blame him that much. But once again, is this because of the no kill rule or because of these characters writing who they are?
I don't know if you can give that particular assert, because I mean, it's one thing where Hulk was genuinely mind controlled by Scarlet Witch, and another where like Jason is like angry and kind of angry and a little bit mentally fucked up in the head because he was fucking dead for like, I don't know, like however long and resurrected. That probably drove him insane.
Of course, and that's what I'm saying. So it's like,
but
you
at the
asked
same time,
why can't we blame him? And that's kind of why we can't blame him in that situation.
It's like, but I mean, I think it's like you're comparing, like you're giving a false equivalence of where it's one thing to be like, it's one thing to be false, like to be mentally insane and mind controlled. Where I mean, because the whole fucking mentally insane is what Joker is. So if we've kind of pinned the responsibility on Joker as being he fucking deserves to die. No insanity plea. He needs to fucking die. Because like I do agree, if he was a real person, he deserves to die. I think in the context of
if he was a real person, we would be alive right now.
If he went through the actual justice system, he'd be put to the death. He'd be put on death row without hesitation. Like the insanity plea is extremely rare, and usually the ones who are genuinely mentally insane do not get the insanity plea because those are the people that fucking murder like a whole fucking monastery or something.
Well, we're talking, I got something for you. We're talking about it. How about we put our money where our mouth is? We're all enthusiasts, right? So let's ask each other the question. I'm going to give you guys a scenario. All right.
I kill him.
All right. So here's scenario one. Would you rather? You're a hero. Okay. You have a choice to kill the Joker or to not kill the Joker. Okay. Keeping in mind everything that he's done. But you're in a situation where he's like, I am about to blow up the Empire State Building right now. You either kill me right now, cold-blooded, everybody gets to see it, right? If you don't kill me, I blow this building up. But if you do kill me, right, everyone in the world will see it, and they will abandon the idea and support of heroes because they will consider you a murderer from this point on. You will no longer have the backing, funding, support of not only just the citizens or the government, but your actual hero friends as well will turn against you. But that is the current situation. Now, keep in mind, you are a hero. You are a hero, right?
Am I a hero?
In this situation is contingent. Now, everybody in the world knows the situation. Are you going to take this plea right now, or are you going to try to figure out a different way? You only have an hour to figure the situation out. Now, I assume most of you will be like, I'm not going to leave it up for an hour, but I actually want to hear what you guys would do in this situation.
Oh, immediately
would
without
kill the man
hesitation, I'm killing the Joker.
I would kill the man instantaneously. Look at the cameras and look at everyone in the world and tell them, I'll be gone. And when you need me, I'll come back. You'll see how better life is now.
So you're okay
garbage
with
is
the
dead.
implications of how they feel, rather than showing that there
They
could be a
implicate
different
my
way.
nuts in their mouth.
So
Fuck those people.
assuming that you're not trying to trick us around because you did give us an hour, and if we're to assume that there is no possible way to get into the Empire State Building within the hour and make sure everyone escapes, or like everyone is out so that nobody dies, like assuming that that's not the case where you can simply just evacuate the entire building so no one gets hurt, then my personal belief it would be that yes, I would kill the Joker and destroy my own reputation, because that's my personal belief, where I think as a hero, my reputation does not. I do not care about necessarily my reputation. Like I put the safety of others before my own reputation. And even if I'm looked at as a horrible person from now on, that's the sacrifice I would make to make sure to save even a single person that's in a single innocent life.
Facts.
So here's
That's
so
the
I
risk you take.
I thought you brought up a really interesting point, because there's an inherent dilemma within this concept, and it's that, you know, by killing the Joker, you're completely shattering that symbol of peace that you've been putting up. You know, I think a hero is really defined by how the people perceive him. So even if, like, let's say Batman is failing in a lot of these aspects, if the people still have faith in him, then that's going to continue his this idea as a hero. He's somebody who refuses to kill people in the most extreme situations, and that's somebody who All Might was. He was very much he embodied that same concept. And so if you shatter that, then people will lose faith in you, and they'll lose faith in the system, and then it can all crumble away so quickly. I'm not saying I agree with it, because I'm much more on the opposite end. I believe that ends justify the means in this certain situation. The Joker is a threat to society. We should take him out. But again, sometimes it's not up to just my opinion. You have to think about how everybody else and how everything places to this situation.
And that's kind of where I was going with why I'm neutral to the sense that I support the decision of heroes for their whether or not they choose to have a no kill rule, because look, I believe that it's in some cases killing is sometimes the simplest and the easiest option, but that's my opinion. That's my interpretation of it. But that might not be the same for other people. And it also depends on what kind of person is this. Like, I think with Batman, a lot of it is that he is capable of doing a lot of shit. Like, he knows how many ways canonically does he know, and with martial arts, how many moves does he know how to do that can kill a person? Like, there was some number that they gave for how many different ways he can kill somebody.
He doesn't kill anyone, so I don't consider those real moves. Fuck that guy.
Well, here's the greatest part about.
But my point is that he's physically capable. He's so good at martial arts, and he's so good at the stealth and everything to make sure that the dominoes fall in place for him, to make sure he can stop somebody without killing them. I think to an extent, but whereas if you're not necessarily good at martial arts, then pulling out a gun and shooting somebody that's attacking you might actually be the best possible thing you can do, even if it kills them, because you cannot physically match their strength or their skills in fighting. that's the only way you can survive.
Speaking of pullout, Joker's mom should have had the dad pull out.
but check this out. There was a reason why I asked you guys that question, because it was a great setup to highlight the thought process. When it came down to it, specifically, John said, "I'm not necessarily worried about the image of what I'm doing. I care more or less, or I care more about the mission and the success and the safety of the people. I'm not going to leave anything up to risk. I'm not going to put that on my shoulders. I'm going to do directly what's needs to be done." But that highlights exactly the difference between what a hero versus what an anti-hero is. I don't know if I ever heard something more accurate to the Punisher ever in my life. That one exact statement. I mean, seriously, Punisher could give a shit who is affected, and he's not a hero. And in fact, his impact on society isn't to be a hero. That's not what he's here to do. He's here for a mission. He's here to get things done, right? So when you look at those situations, we had a situation where we're saying, okay, well, if I don't do it, I will put that burden on my shoulders as a hero. I will go the extra mile and do what no one else can or even would think of, to not only hold my morals as a hero, but to save someone at the same time. That's what Superman would do. That's what Batman would do. Now that, but as heroic as that sound, and everyone's like, well, actually, yeah, that's what a superhero would do. You know what? You're right, dude. We can figure this out. Before we get too hyped, yeah, we're all pieces of shit, because heroes don't actually give a shit about you. They care more about what it looks like. That's the fundamental issue of being a hero. So to bring it back around, the no-kill rule, it never necessarily is the right thing or ever was the right thing to do. It's the requirement of being a hero. So if he's a hero, that's how it gotta go. Does anyone know about Blue Marvel? I mean, he's actually a pretty shitty guy if you think about it. And as a quick wrap up, the dude was basically told during the 1960s, all right, well, you go out in outer space and go kill this thing. And by the way, we hope it kills you. Oh, crap, it didn't kill you. Great, you did awesome. But unfortunately, everyone knows you're black, so we kind of need you to go away. Is that good? And because he's a hero and he loves his country, he goes like, okay, I will do it because you asked me, and that's the right thing to do, because that's what the law, that is what's justice saying to do. Do you know how many things happen that if Blue Marvel got into, it would have immediately been over?
But
I'm morally speaking, he's a hero. I mean, if he's around since the 1960s, he didn't show up back until what Secret Wars? Like everything in the middle, he could have literally stopped. He's like a Superman level character.
Yeah.
Like he has a kryptonite, and by the way, his kryptonite is in a different universe or a different dimension. My bad. So he could have stepped in at any point, but he's the embodiment of a hero. It was the idea of what he had to be for society. Otherwise, he would have been an anti-hero, and his purpose would have just been a soldier. I'm going to do what someone has me to do, or whatever some person is saying at the point of time. And that's what Cap was saying in Civil War. What if we need to be somewhere and we're not there? At that moment, he wasn't a hero, but he was morally correct.
So I kind of I want to move this to what Nick was going to say, because Nick was telling me about what he had planned, and he had something really interesting because it's like one of his favorite characters. And how they do it.
Yeah, when we think of like no kill rules, we usually think of Batman. Green Arrow has one, and actually, it, in my opinion, is completely different from Batman's. Batman and Superman both have like almost a phobia of killing people. Green Arrow loves killing people. He was stuck on the island, had to kill to survive the next day, and so he came back from civilization. And he's like, killing for fun, that's not a good thing. I'm not going to do that. And obviously it's comics. He ends up killing people. Dinah gets tortured by a bunch of goons, and he goes on and kills all of them.
You notice how they weren't a problem ever again. Just saying. Notice how they fucked up one time, and Green Arrow said, I'm gonna put you in the ground, and they never fucked with him again.
Yes,
that's fair.
I agree. I've seen a pattern.
But at the same time, Green Arrow, it fucked with his mind. He and
Yeah.
exiling himself. And yeah, I love Green Arrow. I think that's one of the things that separates him from Batman, because a lot of people say that he's just another Batman, which he's not really. People just need to give him a chance, really.
He used to be my favorite superhero of all time. I loved Green Arrow.
He's the reason
Still
I
do.
grew this.
I was about to say, is
Yeah.
that the Oliver Queen look or the Colonel Sanders look?
Yep, it's the Oliver Queen.
Yeah, okay, I
Nice.
respect it. It's pretty fucking dope.
Thank you.
Maybe even better if it was the Colonel Sanders look.
Can you,
That'd
be a
can you pull up a
baller
bucket
plan.
of KFC for me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, all right, fam. Let's shout out DC and Marvel. Let's I think we all came to the conclusion that we get the rule, but we honestly, I mean, we're beating around the bush, guys. We just think that you guys aren't fucking trying hard enough, motherfuckers. That's just what we're trying to tell you guys. Like,
Yeah.
we get it, but dude,
Like-
just make new characters, man.
Or
Make new
like,
characters.
better
Do
yet,
it more often.
make a better story than just this whole pushing people to the extremes to see how far they need to go before they just snap and decide to kill the villain. It's like, as I said, like, but that is so overdone. It's so over romanticized. This idea that Batman always has to be tested by the Joker to see if he's willing to kill him. Why can't you just make it a basic story of not him being tested to his morals and his code, but just him being tested to his detective skills? Give us a plot that has an interesting dynamic of him having to find a new way to approach character. In fact, that's kind of what I enjoy about whenever he's having to clash with Ra's al Ghul, is that Ra's al Ghul, if you look at him, like, in terms of his combat, he's roughly like about equal to Batman, if not more, and is amped by the Lazarus Pit. So, like, in a straight fight, Ra's al Ghul could very easily just waste Batman. So it's a whole dynamic of what, like, having to deal with somebody like that. And I think, and for a character like him who can easily resurrect himself through the Lazarus Pit, I'm sure Batman's not really giving it. Like, Batman isn't really giving as much of a shit of killing him because he knows he's just going to come back. Like, that's kind of what I've noticed with Ra's, is that Batman will just fucking waste that man because he knows he's just going to be dipped in back in the Lazarus Pit.
Guess what? I thought of this really awesome way to restore for DC a great plot line, and I'll just pitch it to you guys. Maybe you'll think is good. Would this restore your faith in the no kill rule if this was a story? So there's a story where is entered where Todd is trying to find Batman. He's been gone for 3 months. Turns out the next time he sees him, he's in the middle of Gotham fighting the Joker, and we get to this moment where the Joker and Batman are face to face, and the Batman is supposed to kill him, but he doesn't. But here's the twist. Instead of not killing him, what ends up happening is the Joker finally kills Batman. And it's like, whoa, he didn't kill him. He didn't do the no kill rule, but it ended up Batman dying instead. And all of the Justice League is like, you just killed the Batman. It's over. We're going for you. And Jason Todd, who just watched this guy die, is like, no, this is not how we're supposed to do this. And it's an entire story about the ridicule and like basically like a run back of all the times Batman should have killed someone and didn't, and just like spitting on Todd about like why this is such a stupid idea. But he went through with it and made Joker go through the system and everything, and he ended up in the jail, and they finally locked him down for good. You don't see him again. We find out at the very end of the story that this was an elaborate plot to see if the Joker was right. Joker wanted them to kill him to prove a point, because the Joker kidnapped Batman 3 months prior, cloned him, and made everyone believe that he had killed the Batman to prove the point that if you were mad enough, you could bend a hero. But because Todd did not kill him and he stuck to the idea of the no kill rule, it ended up saving someone from being blamed for something they didn't do, and Batman is actually alive. Would that restore anyone's idea? Because I feel like it's just bad writing. I feel like you can really embody that message if you did it right. They're just not creative enough.
To my point, as I was saying, I mean, I think you could make it just, you don't make a big deal out of the no kill rule. You can have them beat the shit out of Joker, and that's about it. It's like, I think like if the hero is capable of just beating the shit out of the villain, then at that point, I don't think it's particularly necessary for them to kill them. Like at that point, like, but if you have to take a shot from a gun, like pull out a gun and take a shot at them because of a situation, especially because that's what we see a lot of with Joker, and even maybe plenty of other characters, then yeah, that's like you can just make the story more a dynamic of characters being tested to their abilities in like Batman and his detective skills being pushed to new extremes rather than his morality. Because the morality has been tested to pushed to its extremes long enough, I think. Like I like as much as I don't like as much as I don't like how Deathstroke is utilized with Batman, because there is no reason Batman should even stand a chance against Deathstroke. I can admire some aspects of Batman being capable of beating Deathstroke by either like fighting him enough to prevent him from assassinating his target, or catch him off guard, like get him by a surprise attack in just the right way, or like basically outsmarting him in a way that is not directly fighting, where he doesn't directly fight him, but he's like he can beat him through indirect, like he can beat him without facing him head on, because I think that's what Batman usually is. I mean, that's what I've always seen with really what Batman actually is, and how, like, contrary to what those annoying Bat stands think of him, name a time, like, think of all the times Batman has faced characters like Killer Croc, Bane. How many times, like, out of all of them, does he actually just step in and fight them mano-y-mano, instead of just hiding in the shadows and waiting for the right moment to strike?
Well, I mean, that first time with Bane, he probably should have hit because he got his ass whooped. Boy.
Yeah.
That shit was crazy.
Yes, sir.
He got.
To
All
my-
right, well, I got a question for you. If you could choose from this point on, would you, or I have a better question. Do you believe that the no-kill rule is a necessity to comics and anime or any type of hero-based writing? Do you think it's a necessity?
It depends on the media, because for comic books, I think so.
Yeah.
This is an
they're
interesting
selling, like,
topic then.
Hold on.
So you think it's a necessity?
I
For
think
the media, but for storytelling, it's fucking dumb.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. It's like for the media, like I think in terms of the context of the villains don't die, or most of the villains don't die unless they're completely irrelevant. I think in the context of either they just the heroes don't kill them, but not necessarily for moral reasons of no kill rule, but because of the situation of the plot armor of either they cannot die, or killing them will result in the deaths of other people because they have contingencies. Like, as I said, if the Joker has bombs planted all around Gotham so that if he dies, Gotham goes down with him. Like, it's a dynamic that gives him plot armor for him to be alive, and for the heroes not to kill him, but not giving us that moral bullshit that they keep repeating and repeating, that it gets old, as I was pointing out, and just stupid and annoying. Like it's more constructive with the okay, look, the situation calls for killing him is not a good idea. It does not benefit us. In fact, it harms us.
So
It's like-
basically what we're saying is we all acknowledge that basically the no-kill rule is a necessity for these stories, but at the end of the day, it's also it's purposed as a plot armor, because at the end of the day, we have to have a reason why a human being, the Joker, people like the Joker, we have to have a reason as to why a regular human being is alive when they're mass murdering people, and we have characters that can literally fly the speed of light and can blow up planets.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is. Because other than that, let's be real. What other reason should Joker? I mean, come on, dude. I mean, these
To be
guys
fair,
are literally.
though, it is comic books. If you die in comic books, you always get brought back.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's
that's
also
the
the
thing.
thing.
It's irrelevant either
all
way.
the time.
Well, okay, to my point, as I
Sentry's having a hard
said,
time right
as long as you are a relevant character to relevant in some way, you will be brought back.
Mhm.
That's kind of the way to how to permanently kill off a character is to make them irrelevant, and then when you kill them, no one will give a shit.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why you should have a multiverse if you're going to write a comic, and you should just give us, what if situations, because I think the future of comics, and I hope they're listening. I know, you guys like money and stuff like that, but if you really want to wow people, change it up. Look at Game of Thrones, dude. They
Yeah.
killed
I agree
main
with-
characters left and right, and they did perfectly fine.
I think Game of Thrones did it excessively. I think they did it to the point that it became predictable in and of itself.
Yep. So
And-
there's a balance. There can be a balance.
Well,
We can-
I mean, okay, but I think that kind of is in a bad way. That it killed. That the moment when a character starts getting interesting, you know that they're gonna die. It's like that. All the interesting characters get killed off in Game of Thrones, and I'm still not over Robb Stark's death because
No,
he's my favorite
we
character.
don't talk about him. We
I
don't
don't-
talk about him.
We don't. He's my favorite character. He's my boy.
He's my favorite character.
Yeah, but I think a way that the comic book industry could like really do well is if they or just like whatever they get if they start adopting a bit the way that a manga does their storytelling. There's
Yeah.
when there's a bit more nuance and like when things aren't so one-sided and a bit more jaded. You have like the main character do things which are in a moral gray area and it's not necessarily the right thing. I think that could add for some really interesting storytelling.
So I think you're right, but also I mean it kind of iffy on that because I think with the main difference in comics and anime, which it was a point which brought up last week, was that the difference in comics as anime is it's a singular series that lasts generally not that long for a character. Like it's generally a short-term thing, with the exception of like the big ones like Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece. Like you get like those outliers that are just like aside from those outliers,
That's fucked up.
aside from those outliers, generally speaking, the most anime characters, like for most anime characters, their series, like or their franchise as a whole, does not last at nearly as long as comic book characters, where comic book characters have been introduced since as early as the 30s and 40s, like between like the 40s and the 60s and 70s. That's when you see like most of the characters we see nowadays. That's where like they've been around since that time. Whereas anime characters, even though like the mainstream ones today, like Demon Slayer came out in 2016.
Well, also, can we also acknowledge that we are highlighting the no kill rule and stuff like that, but also keep in mind how old Batman is, and he's a very old
Yeah.
written. There's a lot of core
1939,
values.
baby.
There's a lot of core values that you can't change, and it was written in a time where society was different. But in all reality, if you guys are a little bit more current with the comics, I mean, they're kind of a little bit I'm not even gonna say a little bit. Things are way more cutthroat now because characters do die, heroes do kill people now. Like,
Yeah.
it's much different for people that that they're coming here for inspiration to get deeper into it. Don't let these conversations fool you. Batman is always going to be on that list because he's a very old written character.
Well, yeah.
There's a lot
And
of
I
things we
mean-
can't change. I mean, that's why the Darkest
even-
Night was kind of
okay,
like crazy.
When he was introduced, he was fine with killing people. It was the Silver Age that made him intertwined him with no kill rule. But to your point, like in modern day comics, even though he's not really explicitly killing people, you have people like Jason Todd and even Damian Wayne that fucking that do kill people and they don't hesitate on it. And Batman knows full well that they kill people and he doesn't give a shit. Like he doesn't like with the exception of them being under his household in Wayne Manor. In that case, they have to follow his rules of not killing. But like when they're not living with him, because they could easily just live on their own. Jason did it for a fucking long time. Damian was with Talia for quite a while. We know he killed people. Bruce is very well aware that they kill people, but he doesn't really give a shit about it because as long as they're just killing criminals, it's not necessarily that big of a deal for them to go around killing people because they're criminals. Like he's not going to stop the anti-heroes from doing their anti-hero stuff.
Exactly. So it was just worth highlighting that it's not as much as we talk about like the no kill rule. A lot of that is in personality. I mean, you have, I'm always going to bring up Johnny Cates. You have authors like that are on the scene, and they do embody the heroic. You don't just kill people because you can line, but make no mistake, there's a lot of newer things out there that kind of culture in comics has died quite a bit, I would say.
Yeah. I think we've kind of like gotten basically all of our points out, unless anyone's got anything else, because I think it's been about an hour. Probably wrap up the episode if you guys want, or unless we want to keep going.
My only thought is that progressively throughout this episode, every time a scenario came up, and I had the chance to basically say someone should die, made me think about something. I'm basically Peacekeeper. I don't think that's really a good thing. Like,
I mean, I think it's
at least I
funny,
get to be
you know?
John Cena, but
How do you guys feel about his performance so far?
hey, yo, he got
I
a
haven't
dump truck
seen it.
though.
So no spoilers,
Facts.
please.
No, but I just got HBO today, so
Nope.
I'm.
It took
I'm
you a
behind
whole
it.
ass week to get HBO.
Fuck you. No, it's my parents agreed to give me that for
Boomer-ass
Christmas.
Slow bitch.
They agreed to give me it as a Christmas gift, but it took them a fucking month to actually give me to
Someone put
buy
it
the
on to a
subscription.
Fucking Sadness and Sorrow for his backstory.
Shut the fuck up, bitch!
I like that.
I will go to your house and say hello to your mother, and then
You're
we'll
not trying to
and
find
then
my
Don't
house.
you talk
bitch.
about my wife like that. That is my wife.
I will fight you for her.
Hey. Not on the podcast.
After the podcast.
The mother arc is over, okay?
I'll
Fuck
let
you.
it, I'll allow it for this one time.
You'll allow it.
Yeah, don't say
I'll allow it. Oh, wait.
Mother
I
arc
know
next
that.
time.
Okay, wait. So, Jacob, you have the right half of the podcast. I have the left half of the podcast. Anything on the left half of the
You call me
podcast,
Republican? That's kind of fucked up.
at least you're not a
Yeah, you
liberal. Like,
Republican.
I mean, it could be worse. But
What'd you fucking say?
like, okay, on the left side, anyone on the left side may bring up the mother arc. So, Matt, you may continue
Thank
with
you.
the mother arc
I've
because
been
you were on my
waiting for
side.
my opportunity because it's actually a misnomer. It's not the Jacob's mom arc. It's the Jacob's parents are polyamorous arc. So I'm actually in a loving polyamorous relationship with both of Jacob's parents.
No, you're not.
And-
This is not the podcast. The podcast is over.
The
No,
podcast
this
is not
it's
over.
fine.
Just remember,
Son,
this
son,
podcast started
son.
with Jacob's talking about scratching his balls with the tooth.
Yeah.
And it's ending with the mom arc. So we'll have to
Yeah.
continue next time with the mom
We're
arc.
full circle. God damn it.
Yeah. You walked into this one, Jacob.
I'm
Yeah,
sitting
you
down,
walked into a
bitch.
landmine.
Look, son, I don't want you using that language on the podcast.
Suck my dick, Matt.
So anyway,
Your
but
mother
like,
and father and I, we've discussed this, and it's just not, it's not the best look for you publicly, and we want
Yeah.
the best for you. We love you.
so yeah. But anyway, so before we end the podcast, just I want to know, like, everyone, real quick, just share where it is our viewers can find you, like TikTok or Instagram or whatever you guys have on social media. Like, just if you want to share it, go ahead. I'll
All
start
right.
with Nick, and then go down to Matt Marvel.
Well, I'm Grandmaster Nick. You can find me on TikTok at Grandmaster Nick. Yeah.
Or you can also look him up at Oliver Queen. He lives in Star City.
Yes. Queen Industries.
Queen, yeah, he works for Queen Industries. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
You can also catch him at the local KFC opening.
True. I love me some fried chicken.
God,
Hey,
this
yo.
guy love cock.
Oh man.
Kilometer. That's just stupid. Stepdad, go ahead and tell fucking people your shit.
Alrighty. I'm Kilometers Matt. You can find me on TikTok. Same username.
You also look up bitch. His name
Shut up.
comes up.
My name on TikTok is my @ is Kilometers Matt. My actual name is Kilomerson P Matherson. My bio says Jacob's parents special friends. Go ahead and give me a follow. I think I make pretty decent content, although some
Hey, yo.
people would not agree with me.
Hey, yo.
But yeah, that's it.
Okay, Mr. Blue Marvel.
Oh yeah, that's right. Me.
He
Yeah.
said, "Oh, that's right, bro. I forgot I was here."
Yeah, I'm stupid. Anyway, yeah, I'm on TikTok too. I have 2 pages, The Bald Stoner and The Bald Bay, BAE. I make okay content or whatever. You can go see it for yourself if you want to. It's whatever.
All right.
God. Wake
Yeah.
up, baby boy. Wake up, little
All right,
snuggums.
it's me. I'm here. If you want to follow me,
Yeah, happy
which I
cock.
highly
Guys,
recommend
mommy,
that
I'm
you
here.
do, because I promote just the most peak content in the world, and you get to
There
see
you go.
my smiling face. So it's Duran's World on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. We're building it up. Yeah, like I have pretty terrible takes.
You talk about One Piece. I think
I have
One
a
Piece
pretty
is a
good
good
personality,
show.
that's
It's
my makeup
crazy.
for it.
I'll be so sad if no one here follows me.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be looking for all of you now.
If you like One
All
Piece,
right, I follow you on everything.
I'm a
Y'all-
bad
yeah,
person.
Johnsky. I asked him to send me your info to send me one of your videos, and Johnsky said, "No, I'm gonna go cry because I'm a baby."
I think one of my
never
videos,
asked.
one of my videos are going viral right now. I think they're at like
Yeah, that's
500K
kinda
or
funny.
something.
So
sure
Johnsky,
there's
you go ahead and give your little. Hey, how you can find me?
Well, you can find me. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram, literally at the top right corner.
Well, not
That's-
everyone can see the screen, Johnsky.
Yeah.
Yeah, come
Some
on, bro.
people are listening to this, so you
Some
know you have to
people are
spell it out
listening to
for them. Clap the syllables and everything.
You can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Johnsky with that 5 E's. That's Johnsky. Yeah, Johnsky, but instead of an I, it's 5 E's.
Like a fucking
Johnsky.
Pikachu.
That was
John
beautiful.
Sky.
You can find me in Jacob's Closet.
John Sky.
Is that why he's in the closet now when he's at home? All the
Hey,
time?
yo.
Yeah.
Hey, yo.
Anyway, Jacob, you might as well.
how's Tom Cruise in there?
Tom Cruise, you know what? It's surprising how well he fits in there. And I'm not talking about like the fact that he fits in there. I'm talking about that he's short.
Thank you for explaining the joke and thus killing the joke. I'm so proud of
Yo,
you.
can the
Dog.
next
boy.
pod be about?
Shout out to the short king.
You
man.
killed that
Can the
joke
next
faster
pod
than
be about
Batman has
how
ever killed
short
a
That's cool.
Joker.
I'm
Cruise
short
is?
too, so I stand up for Tom
I can't
Cruise.
imagine being short. It's crazy.
Neither can, well, yes, you can. You're 5'7". But
I'm not
like,
5'7". I'm 6'2".
I'm still
no,
taller,
I'm
Greg.
actually
There
6'2".
you are.
That's the problem.
I'm 6'3". My name's fucking Johnsky. I'm over here going. Shut up. Anyway,
Jacob, I'm your
Oh,
stepdad.
by the way, anyone who wants to follow Jacob's mom, the TikTok is Zoo Elda. Zoo Elda. ZOOELDA.
I will find where you fucking live.
The IP addresses are a thing. Remember that, guys.
Fuck you.
That's not how IP addresses work. I'm a cybersecurity major. I know how that shit works.
How about you secure
can't
yourself
find
some bitches because I'm about to cyber fuck you.
I will. Your mom.
Don't talk about my wife like that, bro. We already had this conversation. Don't do that.
I
Don't
was the
do
one who
that.
found her. I'm the reason you were even able to come in contact with
Oh,
her.
by the
This
way,
is
you were
your
supposed to
beautiful
message
face.
Heal Panda God so you can get your sword, and now because you didn't message him today, he's gonna send me the sword. I get a
What?
free
Yo,
sword.
can
Yo,
yo hold up? Ship that
Why
to me.
did
Ship that to
he
me.
never told me to message him? He
Yeah, he
never
did.
told me. No, he
Yeah, he did.
didn't.
Well,
He
Johnsky,
never
the sword's
told me.
mine because it's my goddamn mother, and this is my arc. I deserve the fucking sword.
No,
I want a
was the
meat
one
hawk
who took the
sword.
effort to actually find her Snapchat.
I
I
mean,
had
listen,
the effort
fucking
dealing with my
TikTok.
mother for 23 years. Where's my sword?
Listen, Jacob, who's paying for your trip out here?
It's me.
You're paying half.
Yeah, for you to get out here. You're
Dude.
paying to get yourself back. That's different.
You're
Can't believe
paying
we're-
for you're paying for. a
Can't
trip
believe
in
we're
July.
really ending this podcast on Jacob's mom's arc.
That means we have to
This is
start the
the
next
worst
one
arc,
with Jacob's mom. That's how you have to do it.
No,
Start with the
stop
Jacob.
it.
Definitely.
Can we not
We
end
definitely
the
got to start.
podcast?
By,
I want one goddamn.
all
day.
right, just
On TikTok, where I
just
don't have to hear
just
from my
tell
mother.
everyone who's listening where to find you, and
Yeah, you could-
we're good.
You can find
Jacob's
me
mom's
on TikTok at Jacob Ty Stanley because I'm a stupid fucking put my government name out there. You can find my Instagram through there, and from there, if you find any other of my social medias, I'm gonna block you because you're a stalker.
Facts.
Fucking weird, dude.
They're also Jacob Ty Stanley, but with underscores between each word.
That's not
Yeah.
my Instagram.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
What's
not.
your Discord, bud? Drop your Discord.
Jacob Ty Stanley. Yeah, I've
That's
seen
not
it.
my Instagram. That's a fake Instagram account that I put up for people like you to not find my actual Instagram account.
But how is it?
Genius.
Okay, but how is it a fake Instagram if you were the one that made
Because that's not where I post my actual shit. My actual Instagram
put
is
your
that
fucking
underscore
name
Bringo
on it.
underscore dude.
You put your name on it.
Yeah, I don't
And
know
you
the
have
difference.
photos.
But if I'm going for a job
personal
and they looked up
photos.
my name to check a social media background and they see my Instagram and they go on my real one and they see me talking about how I beat my meat to hentai, they're gonna be like, oh, this is someone we should hire. But then
They'd
they look up
hire
Jacob
you
Ty
straight
Stanley
up.
and they see
They
a
would hire
professional
you for that.
Instagram account that has not been used since 2017. They're like, oh, you know what? This guy seems trustworthy. How about we hire him? It's called playing the game, John Ski. Suck it.
I would hire you if I saw that Instagram.
I would hire
the
you
one with
straight
all
up.
you beating your meat.
Well,
That'd be the only
you
reason
guys
I'd
are my
hire
boss.
you.
Old people are
Yo,
my boss.
Jacob, if I was your employer, that'd
Maybe
be
I
the
am your
only
boss.
reason I'd hire you. Like if I saw some guy with a hentai addiction, like immediately hired. Doesn't even matter what the job is. Could be software engineering, could be accounting. He could be.
As a
I'm a-
fucking idiot, but he likes hentai. He's hired.
Yeah.
sold.
So anyway,
Dude,
guys,
I'm not gonna lie to you. All you have to do is tell your mom like to make it clap. I'd hire you immediately.
For the people out there, the potential Jacob mom lovers, remember, Jacob has made it very clear he does not abide by the no kill rule. Just want to remind everyone that.
Oh yeah.
Neither do I. What
True.
you mean, my boy?
So anyway, guys, this is where I'm going to end the podcast. It was great
That's where I'm
talking to
gonna
all
go
of you.
cry.
Yeah, cry because I'm fucking your mother tomorrow night.
Yo,
But anyway, guys, I hope everyone watching this has a really good night. Thank you all for watching, and see you next time.
It was fun, fellas.
later, y'all.
I hate everything and I hate all.